So I saw some leaks, by the way. I have seen a bit of ISC, and it's finally here. I have not purchased a ship in 2 years, at least. And I think the only time I ever purchased those ships were just to give away. I have not purchased a ship for myself in a very long time. This is the one I was waiting for. And I don't know any details on it, but this is the one I was kind of thinking about. And yeah, I'm really, 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 really excited for this one. So, ISC Expanse Glance, Winter 2022. Let's go.
Hey everybody. In our last episode of the quarter, we wanted to mix things up and take a sneak peek ahead at something coming your way while we're out on hiatus. It's the next concept ship from industrial powerhouse Misk and the first dedicated refinery craft of its kind. Let's take a look.
By the way, this is a good thing for like, usually this video would just be last video before 317. Here's all the things we've already showed you in 317, right? Vacation again. This time it's actually valid, right? Like I'm sure it's valid. We just don't know the inner workings of how they do things, right? I think they do a lot of the recording during the vacation time, and then they bring those videos in. So based on like, hey, this was recorded months ago when they talked about the refueling, right? That's one of the ones that it's like, oh, this is probably how they do things. So all of it, I think, is pretty valid for them to take time off. We just don't know how it really works. And if that's what they do, that makes total sense. But to give a little like breadcrumb or something, and not just like a crappy video before they leave for a month, basically, I think this is pretty good. So I'm glad they did something like this, even though it's a ship. Maybe one day it'll be more than just a sale thing and a marketing thing, but it's a good thing to do, I think.
Look.
We've got quite a few ships already in the Misk manufacturer lineup.
You have the Prospector, you have the Starfarer,
Hull series.
but we wanted to have dedicated entry-level ship into the refining gameplay career for ship owners.
Entry-level ship. How much is this thing going to be? $500? Easy. Entry, by the way.
The Misk Expanse fills a great hole in the gameplay loop of the entire mining refining cycle, because currently you go out to the far reaches of space, you mine some rocks, you fill up your capacity, then you yourself have to trek all the way back.
You want to know the funniest thing? This is a bugged rock. This is a double rock.
You fill up your capacity.
Look.
Then you yourself have to trek all the way back to a grain station or somewhere like that to refine, and then you have to trek all the way back to go continue mining. Whereas Expanse can be the middleman, where you take on board.
Yo, it looks awesome. It looks so good. That's a tractor beam up there. I'm more looking at this one than anything. But it looks exactly how you think it would, I feel
Mined
like.
goods, you processes it, and then you can either sell it yourself, or you can transfer it back to a cargo ship, and they complete the whole gameplay loop.
Now the question, this is concept. When do you think we get this thing? I don't think we get it for at least a year. So that's the thing that's keeping me from like probably buying it now. Maybe like I may not. It's certainly keeping me from putting new money into the game. I won't do that. I will melt something for this, if anything. But I think we don't get it for at least a year, because cargo refactor has to be a thing, as well as I don't know what else would need to be there. Probably just the cargo refactor, and then they need to make a UI for refining that's very similar to docking, I would assume. Meshing? I don't think meshing needs to be there for this. Maybe the economy, more economy related
The
stuff.
Expanse is the starter ship in the sort of refinery tier. We have refineries on other ships such as the Starfarer, but they're more specialized into purely doing fuel. Where the Expanse.
Oh, okay. Sorry for pausing a lot, but this is something I'm very, very interested in. Starfarer and Odyssey are both for fuel. Starfarer totally makes sense to just be for fuel, right? So Quantanium, hydrogen, those two things only. And this is going to be for other things. That makes it seem like it's going to be a year out for sure. And reason being is the economy has to be a thing then. Because right now, Quantanium's the only thing worth mining. So this ship would essentially be pointless behind the Starfarer until there's a bunch of other items that you can refine, right?
Has a bonus over them is it has what we call reactors on them, and at a very simplistic level, one reactor is one refinery process, and the Expanse has 6 of them on board. So it allows you to potentially do 6 entirely different refinery processes simultaneously, or for maximum output you can do 6 of all the same type and really sort of improve your bandwidth.
Dude, I love this. Is like the exhaust from it, actually. So you can either improve your bandwidth or do 6 different jobs. That's what makes it seem like, yeah, it'll be a much further thing away, because in order for this to really be realized, to have all 6 make sense, is you would want to be able to refine 6 different materials or 3 different materials,
so to speak, of refinery. We picked Misk because it sort of fits that industrial aesthetic.
You've got the rounded front nose of the ship, but then what you'll notice, you've got well, not massive, but you've got the big shoulders. And that's also the Starfarer
killer.
And so we wanted to keep that. So it's sort of basically big airflow, big intakes, straight to an engine, and then back out. When people look at the back, there are certain visual elements there that you'll see that are common throughout the ship manufacturers. You know, it's sort of the ball engine almost, very sort of defined fins that surround that spherical engine. And also, the other sort of main feature is the 8 pods. There are 4 on either side. It really gives this ship a unique look
at
and
least
silhouette.
300.
There's no mistake in this ship. People might be familiar already with sort of Misk interiors are generally sort of a letterbox kind of viewpoint. You know, it's very widescreen. You know, you've got that basically when you're sat in the pilot seat, you've got all your instrumentation laid out in front of you. It's all quite sleek, holographic. It's still sort of quite compact because it is a one-man ship.
This is a one-person ship,
leading from the cockpit. It will take you into just a small living section. You know, so bed, locker, that kind of stuff. And then progressing to the rear of the ship is just a really small sort of like...
Yeah, I'm going to bring the price down.
Operations room, basically, where you can interface with the refinery section. And there's a little window there, and you can sort of see through into the gubbins, and you'll have a little bit of a display that you'll be able to do some of your interaction with. It's split level, so to get out of the ship, basically you'll enter into a really sort of compact and bijou lift, or an elevator, as some people say. That'll take you down to the lower floor. Jared, you might want to call it the ground floor. And then outside down a ramp, basically. So yeah, quite small. I mean, I think the ship is going to be kind of cool. I mean, obviously it's a niche role and it's not going to appeal to every player, but I think as a ship and as an owner, I think people are really going to like it. I think they're probably going to sort of, really start to gel with it.
I don't want to do the mining. I want to do this. Like, this is the side of the game I feel like I would really meld with.
It's got a lot of personality, I would say. And I hope that people A, will enjoy what it does, but B, will also sort of enjoy.
Dude, I thought he had a taxidermy dog down here, but it just blinked.
The visuals of the ship and just flying around in it and just having that sort of one-man support experience.
The Misk Expanse is the first dedicated refinery ship for Star Citizen, an ideal place for beginners looking to start making their way in this career, intended partner of the Prospector mining vehicle, and you can learn more about it in the coming weeks on the robertsspaceindustries.com website. But up next, Alpha 317 is right around the corner, so here's a look at many of the new features, updates, and bug fixes on their way with the patch report. Let's start things off with the big mammer jammer, the main event, the headliner, ship-to-ship player refueling. This new support profession makes its debut in the upcoming Alpha 317 with a new and exciting user interface allowing players to fuel up their Starfarer and Starfarer Geminis, head out into the verse, make an agreement for a type of fuel and price, hook up using the docking interface you may already be familiar with, and then don't forget to manage the flow properly. This step is the crucial difference between a satisfied customer and an unfortunate repair bill. Now, ship-to-ship refueling arrives along with a rebalancing of fuel efficiencies and the removal of temporary fuel scoops from many spacecraft to change life in the burst from this point forward. But Disco, that's not the biggest feature in Alpha 317, you may be saying. Who are you, my boss? I'm talking about my boss. Maybe the biggest feature of Alpha 317 is the dynamite combination of loot generation updates and selling, where a wide array of new items, some formerly found in shops, some from the depths of Star Citizen's history, and some entirely brand new to the Persisting Universe, can now be discovered during your travels, and then, along with a huge selection of items and resources you're already familiar with, now successfully be sold to vendors, allowing you finally to find your fates and fortunes while foraging the fantastic, fabled frontiers of favor and finance. I'm gonna get fired. Or maybe the biggest news of Alpha 317 is the first integration of quantum running things under the hood, where the prices of several commodities, not all at first, will now be controlled by the massive simulation bunderkin we've been talking about for some time.
Guys, because everybody in the P2 starts with 15 million Alpha UEC, the quantum price for quantum fuel was insanely expensive. It was wild because so many people bought it from that specific station. We spawned at Hurston. A lot of people probably spawned there to see the clouds. It was nuts.
It's exciting times ahead.
It went up 900 per unit in 2 minutes. 900 credits per unit.
Also in Alpha 317 are a host of new additions and updates for medical gameplay, including the arrival of Maria Pure of Heart in Lorville, new space station clinic variations on stations throughout the Stanton system.
These were, from what I could tell, they weren't that different, but...
And balance adjustments and bug fixes to bleeding out.
This is good. We just tested this.
Insta-death.
And that was a really good... I want to watch that again, because he got shot after being downed. So it seems like they put it like a little delay in.
Insta-death.
Right? Yeah, see, he just got shot and even pushed after he was down. And he got a head injury.
Injury occurrence.
Cool.
Player status not persisting through logging.
That still isn't working entirely correct.
hunger and thirst decay rates,
Because the hunger and thirst I haven't seen.
and getting a crime stat for ramming your
Persist.
corpse. Yes, you may now ram your corpse as often as you like, penalty free. We've also got DNA head
How was that
updates to
even
your
a
player
thing?
faces that will look better than ever before with improved textures and, you guessed it, moist eyeballs. There's also the FPS weapon animation refactor, where the procedural animations that occur as you run, jump, idle, or just look badass while using the latest from Castec Arms should now feel more natural and aesthetically pleasing. New turret acceleration models so they
Was it
don't
only
instantly
Castec
jump
Arms
to
thing?
max speed and give the player
We
whiplash
tried to test
anymore.
it. A lot of the guns don't do anything.
IFCS quality of life changes, fixes to cluster missiles, ground vehicle signature emission changes, and more that you can learn all about when the patch notes come out.
That looks really good. That looks awesome. But I don't think it'll work
Mining
like that in the
gadgets,
PU.
the latest improvement to mining gameplay that allows players to tackle those asteroids that were previously a bit too volatile or change a variety of circumstances to better suit your loadout and intent when out in the cold wastes, just you and your big rocks.
Another double
Cloud Tech
rock.
also takes another step forward on Hurston as the planet is next in line to get a little bit of shade from the sun in the Stanton system.
This in game and the way they're showing it now looks way better than the first time they showed it. It feels like smog. It feels gross. It feels dirty.
Alpha 317 also brings with it the long-awaited Hull A from Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern, harbinger of the entire Hull
Not
series
in-game yet.
and littlest workhorse of the line. Now, I'm supposed to espouse all of its virtues here, but really, just look how adorable it is. I just want to give it a little hug and tell it what a good job it's doing. Note, if I didn't just talk about how adorable it is and wanting to hug it, someone made me re-record this.
It is so nice.
And when you're done flying your Hull A low above Microtech's first river and testbed for the new river tech that will roll out across planets and moons in subsequent patches, you can return to port with the biggest feature of Alpha 317 yet, bind to key ATC landing.
It's so good.
Look at it. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It is.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Myst continues to be at the industrial forefront with the Expanse refinery vehicle, and that the full concept reveal is just around the corner. That little things like ATC bind to key are the quality of life improvements that come through
true.
your feedback throughout all of development.
Yep.
And that with ship-to-ship refueling, vendor selling, and quantum under the hood, Alpha 317 is shaping up to be another big step forward in recognizing the full potential of life in the verse. Now that's it for ISC this quarter, but keep an eye out on the robertspaceindustries.com website for info on the 317 release, the upcoming Myst Expanse, as well as a merch sale that's just around the corner, and then hang out with Jeremiah and I one more time right here in LA tomorrow on Twitch ahead of my eventual relocation to the UK. For Inside Stars,
Dude, they're such good friends. I feel so fucking bad. I don't necessarily watch their things that much. I watch them on my own time, I guess, for fun, because I those two are some of my favorites, and that's gonna be a bummer, them not being in the same office anymore.
Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you next month from there, here, wherever.
I mean, moving from LA to UK is a big step up, I feel. I would want to, at least. The hell's this? Yo, this is so long. There's 3 minutes left. He should have been wearing the Kermit outfit for that.
Okay. Oh, that was loud. Hey, I like my colors. I like my colors. Whew, I almost missed my chair. Have you ever found a critical JIRA assigned to an employee that hasn't worked there for years? Had you ever shown up for a stand-up that no one told you had been canceled? Have you ever had everything working perfectly on staging, but wouldn't even boot up in the presentation room? What kind of games did you invent as a kid? Have you ever shown up to a stand-up and you were the only one there? Have you ever gotten lost in a gaming convention? Have you ever clicked send halfway through I forgot what I was supposed to say here. Have you ever lit a scene only to discover you're 300% over the entity budget? Have you ever killed a man in the dead of winter just to watch the steam rise from his wounds? Have you ever been tempted to set all your Jiras to resolved and just make a run for it? Nope, that's not good. I don't remember the last time I stood up for a stand-up. You tell us it's going to be a good start. I got a trophy for spaceships. I gave it to myself. I'm going to have to get a haircut at some point. I'm just wasting camera time now, huh? You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? They gave me a special fashion hoodie. Sometimes I just stick my fingers under my arms. Oh, the weather outside is weather. Honestly, I'm just getting really bad at this. Have you ever found 4 copies of the same Confluence page and had no idea which was the updated one? Did you know the human head weighs just 14 pounds? Just mine. It's been a long road. I'd never done a crazy thing in my life before that night. Do you have a Jira for that?
That one was actually funny. That was what Kindergarten Cop reference. Like, were these all movie references? I don't even know. Jared watches so many obscure things, but yeah, okay, that was cool. But no, dude, I'm excited for that ship. It's a bummer it's a concept one, but I think it makes sense that it's a concept one because I don't think refining or mining is ready to. I just don't think the ship will be like that awesome when it comes out without more minables. Like, everybody just mines Quantanium now, right? So if people wanted to mine other things, then those 6 pods would make sense. But then again, 6 working all together would move it faster. Maybe it'd be better. I think whenever there's a Q&A, the main question that everybody needs to ask is, what is the difference between refining on the ship and refining at a refinery? Why would I do it on a ship versus a refinery? Obviously, it's right there, but most refinery jobs take very long and cost money, right? On your ship, it wouldn't cost money. What would it cost? What resources would it cost, right? Things like that. So we'd have to find out a lot more about, well, what's going to be the process of refining? What is the process of refining? Why would we use that? Because, again, a ship would need to be in the game, not, something would have to happen, right? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you guys are mentioning like systems with no refineries. Sure, just like the Starfare, right? It'll see more value in a place like Pyro than it does in a place like Stanton. But the timing thing is the weird one. You wait hours upon hours for refinery jobs in the refinery, and that works because it happens while you're offline. If it's on a ship, how does that work? I feel like there's going to be a different thing that the ship does to make it move a little faster in a way. So that's my question there. But yeah, we'll have to see.